Good afternoon, everyone. It's Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple, and welcome to this week's Nadex Weekly Market Analysis. It is July 20th. It's basically the month is over half over. August is coming up. It is my birthday month, so that is not necessarily a bad thing. So, welcome back. Today has been a crazy day, for lack of a quote crazy day inside of the markets with huge drops, huge retracements, and kind of redrawing. And again, this is a very similar trend we've seen with the dollar, where we have one trend one day and then the rest of the week it retraces. But we don't see it in the indices as often. So again, this is an action-packed Tuesday as far as really where our movement is. So we'll see what we can take advantage of here as far as going forward in the markets. For those of you that don't know me, again, my name is Brian Caprice. I run a company called Keep Trading Simple. I have my charting style is a little bit different than some of them out there, other people out there. So if this is your first time joining in, let me give you the quick 30-second elevator speech here, just so you know who I am. I started trading at the very end of 1999, 2000 timeframe, the whole Y2K. Obviously been through the tech bubble, the housing bubble, through a couple different crashes through there. I started off like many of you out there, being an at-home trader. I am not a 12th generation trader at home. I always like to joke about that. I don't think there's actually 12 generations worth of traders here in the United States. But anyway, I'm not one of them. My dad actually was a programmer for IBM. I started just like you guys did. I started with stocks and traditional options, found currencies about 5-6 years in, loved it because of not only the leverage, but the 24-hour nature of it. Ended up understanding and trading futures for a little bit. Worked for a company teaching people how to trade, and realized that to take my trading to the next level, I thought by working for the financial services industry, I would get the inside knowledge that you couldn't get on the outside. Realized very, very fast that it is nothing like you would expect it to be. I actually I would actually walk past the New York Stock Exchange every single morning. You guys know that picture of the bull? That was literally right outside my office. I could see it. I could peer out and kind of see it. So learned a lot about bonds. So it was a good experience. I'm glad that I had it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really what I thought it was. I wasn't doing what I thought I'd be doing there. The perception versus reality was a little bit different, right? But I left and realized that, I would rather just teach people how to do it. That was a better thing for me. And I've created a number of different strategies that you can use with Nadex. So you'll see things like you'll hear people. The 30-minute trader is what kind of a couple different classes that I did. The 5-minute binary course, I'd probably say, is one of the most popular. There's a parabolic retracement class. There's a high volatility trading class. A supply and demand class. So there's a bunch of them out there, and again, all of them can be used with Nadex. So that is why I do these presentations for the group. Besides that, that's it. Pretty easy. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. I'll give my email address at the end. You guys are more than welcome to reach out and ask me questions if you have. And again, hopefully we'll have a good time today, and see if we can find some good opportunities and potential trade setups for later in the week. Before I jump into the charts, though, I do have to cover a Nadex risk disclaimer. Trading on Nadex involves risk and may not be appropriate for all. Members risk losing the cost of their transaction, including fees. Now, you should carefully consider whether trading on Nadex is appropriate for you in light of your investment experience and financial resources. Any trading decisions that you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. None of the material presented herein is to be construed as a solicitation, a recommendation, or offer to buy or sell any financial instrument on Nadex or elsewhere. Now, Nadex is subject to U.S. regulatory oversight by the CFTC, and Nadex is a registered trademark of the IG Group. Whew. Now that all that is out, let's go into our agenda for the day. First things first, we're going to cover the upcoming news events. This is not the action-packed week like I would love to have. Unfortunately, this is kind of one of those like anemic weeks as far as news goes, and they happen. Every week cannot be the pinnacle of news trading. You guys know, if you're new here, or if you're new, you don't know, but if you've been here, I absolutely love news trading. I think it's the best thing to do. I think everybody should trade it. So we'll cover those kind of hot points for the rest of the week. There is kind of a lot of not a lot, but there's some pretty decent news later in the week. Thursday with the European kind of monetary policy, as well as on Friday we have all the PMI data coming in for both Europe as well as the United States. So that could be fun. And then what we'll do is we'll break down the indices. Again, crazy morning. Yesterday was a crazy day down. There was a couple trades we talked about yesterday morning. In particular, looking at that 2-hour binary contract right at the open, it blew 10 contracts out. So, I mean, within like 30 minutes, all the contracts were gone on the 2 hours. It blew completely through the bottom side. There was just no contracts left to trade because there was so much movement. And again, today, talk about the whipsaw back and forth. There's been some crazy movement that you could have taken in the shorter duration binary contracts as well. So we'll see what we can find there. We'll look at Forex. Again, the pound is just getting slaughtered. Yeah, the pound is getting just blasted. Both fears of, kind of the dovish statement made last week and then Delta variant concerns. So we'll cover and see kind of where those trading opportunities exist. And last but not least, commodities. Basically the well of inflation right now is coming out of this commodity sector. And gold was moving today, but again, retracing back again with the overall markets, the indices dropping. So we'll cover gold, oil, and silver to round out the presentation today. So with that said, let me pop this other window up and punch it over here. So here's Forex Factory. Hopefully you guys can see it. Oops, that's not today. Let's go back to here. You can see right now there's really no news except till 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight with the Aussie dollar. I would say right now, based off where the Aussie is moving, it's trying to get itself in a situation where it can be traded. It is down, showing that there's dollar strength, but you're seeing it rallying back again. The Aussie news tonight should be interesting. If you guys remember, last week they had locked down 4 of their 8 major cities. So they are obviously having, and again, they're having a little bit of a surge, but when we say surge, it's like 38 cases total is what they saw. That's what caused their lockdown. So it is percentage-wise a big jump, but it's not a big number type jump. So we'll see, and I'm sure that's, they're going to mention that tonight. Now, what makes this release tonight very interesting is New Zealand. If you caught their news last week, they talked about how there is probably a 90% chance that there's going to be an interest rate hike in August. So New Zealand is coming out of the other end here. And, the question is, does Australia kind of follow suit? And again, most of the times those two mirror each other, but I don't know, it should be interesting. But again, watching that Aussie dollar, Aussie yen tonight, particularly at 9:30, I think are going to be some of the bigger setups or some of the easier setups to grab tonight. Now, going into tomorrow, all we got is crude oil. If I click kind of the low impact news, you can see, oh, look, there's some more things there, but none of these are really big movers. I mean, net borrowing, not big. 30-year bond auction, not really a big deal, right? Leading index in China, not really a huge deal, but crude oil is about the only thing. And you can see, we've had down draw, and it's just been nothing but down draws for the last month and a half by big numbers too. And the forecast is being kept at 4 million, but yet it keeps coming in at 7 the whole time. And we'll see. The forecast is supposed to tick up a little bit, but again, I mean, going from 4.3 to 4.6 when it was 7.9 last time, kind of a big number, and we had all that OPEC news. So yeah, I mean, last week we had this big 7.9, and the price just started to tank. So I think tomorrow will be a pretty decent day, and we'll see what the European session looks like. See if we have a little big scenario going into Thursday. Now Thursday, there's all kind of news, and again, this is because I have it clicked on, everything. When I click on just the most important news, we do have another one of the members of the MPC speaking. Now, I don't know. Broadbent is one I'm not super familiar with. I don't know. It's not one of the ones that I track as far as major movers. It is considered a medium kind of impact news. And if you look at it, it says it's delivering a speech titled "Mismatch" at an online event. So I'm not familiar with this one, but it is considered medium. So maybe I'll have to look into that and figure out, kind of what he's expecting to say in this one. So I'm not familiar with it, but I know that it's there. It's 4:30 in the morning, so I probably won't trade that one. And then at 7:45, which is awesome, we have the European monetary policy statement. I do feel like that will provide some fireworks this week. Obviously, Germany's having major problems with German flooding and reconstruction and things like that. Obviously, nobody's out of the woods yet with COVID, so yeah, I mean it's probably going to be a decent mover. Now it is followed closely with unemployment claims, but I would say euro dollar, euro yen are probably decent, but also the pound yen, or I'm sorry, the euro pound, especially if the euro pound is still having issues where it's driving, right? If the pound is still having weakness, and the funny thing is, the pound yen when we talked 3 hours ago was down 110 pips. Now it's down 6, right? Now it's down 6. Pound dollar was down 117, and now it's down 64. So a lot has changed in the 3 hours since we talked. But again, if the pound is still having issues, and we get some type of a hawkish discussion on Thursday, that could really shoot this the euro pound higher, and it could be a really decent setup. So we'll go check, we're going to check that out and see what we have going over there. And then unemployment claims. It seems like unemployment claims, just like inventory, is really stuck around that 350, 360 level, and we do keep missing that one too on a negative side as well. Now going into Friday, again, you can see there's a lot of news listed out here. Most of the news, though, is exactly the same. I wouldn't say that it's much different, but by meaning that we have French manufacturing PMI and services, German manufacturing services, European as a whole, and then we have the pound, right? Manufacturing and services PMI, and then we have CAD retail sales, which I'm actually kind of excited about that one. So far, I mean, they're supposed to be negative, right? Last time they were really negative. These are not supposed to be as bad, and if you remember back to last week to the U.S. retail sales, our numbers blew them out of the water. They were over double and even triple as far as the retail sales cores number go. So these could potentially provide a positive kind of boom, which I think would be good. And again, that would be a dollar CAD type trade. And again, for Forex traders out there, a CAD yen based trade. Retail sales is one of the big five, or I'd say even the big three. So, with it being negative, the negative sentiment is this is going to be weaker. If it comes in positive, the dollar CAD could definitely shoot back to the downside. And again, we'll see. This is later in the week. This is Friday. We'll see where the momentum has occurred at that point with the dollar, right? I mean, it's been strong all week. If we're going to see profit taking, that's when it would come in, is most likely on Friday. And then followed out 945, closely right behind, we have the flash manufacturing PMI and flash services. So again, both of them are nowhere close to 50, but they are both kind of where they're holding or reducing from where they were last time. And we have had, I guess it was factory orders. Factory orders was a bit disappointing last time. So, there is some potential out there. And that's it for the week. That leads us into Friday. So again, Saturday, no news. Sunday, no news. And Monday, there's really nothing as well. So, it's a bit, German, info business climate, but everybody right now is focused. So on the flooding and the recovery. So, it is not the, obviously not the biggest week as far as news goes. I would say besides Friday, where it looks like a whole lot of data, but it's a lot of repeats. It is a very kind of anemic week as far as news releases go. And they're not all going to be great, but, it is what it is. Now, as far as big news this morning, there's not really a lot out here. You talk about, gloom and doom takes its toll, yet everything is up today. Talking about rising debt levels. You're talking about, some technical analysis. There's really not a whole lot in here. Really anything that's like earth shattering. Talking about residential, Amazon kicks off, cloud stuff. I wouldn't say there's really even many news headlines right now that are driving it. So the market is things like this. The pound dollar drives beyond the 200 moving average and key troughs. So troughs. Not a lot in there. So typically when I see this and I see like not a lot of news headlines, I'm typically looking for, again, kind of smaller technical levels. I'm using my larger time frame levels, and that's what we need to focus on today. So let me go across. Let me grab water real quick. Sorry, I was getting a dry patch. I was out doing wood chips. I got a delivery of wood chips outside, and unfortunately, I got them, and it rained for like a week straight. And now my allergies are like, no, don't spread them. And so that's what I'm dealing with. So let's start off with the ES first. So earlier this morning, if you were here, we talked about how the market was continuing to push lower. And we were going with 15-minute. We were sitting back really in this range, kind of pushing down. And we mentioned the open would be interesting. And if we were able to break below 42.50, we'd look to take this one short. Well, the market ended up rallying right off that 9:30 time frame. And we paused a little bit up here at this smaller level in the 15-minute, and now we're continuing to rise. So big question is, where do we stop? And again, it's funny. This was, supposedly this was because everybody was concerned about Delta, but now it's like, oh yeah, in one day Delta's gone, it's fixed, right? this is why I think this was more of a weekend kind of interest rate discussion versus anything else. It's easy to blame everything on COVID, but unfortunately, when you're seeing this type of rally back again from those lows, I mean, really, what's changed in 24 hours as far as we don't have a new vaccine. Nothing is beyond is proved beyond that. There's been no major headlines. What would have changed it, right? I think a lot of the fear is subsiding with it. And again, I think there was some fear here, but I think the interest rate scenario, now that we have an official country mentioning raising interest rates, I think it's just one of those things you got to be kind of cognizant. And again, as far as the market goes, yeah, okay, Delta's bad. So what's going to happen? We're not going to shut down again. If we do shut down, it just means that we're going to keep the economy cooking hotter than it should be, right? For longer. So there's not a lot of downside here. It's just kind of strange, one of those things. So, as far as where we go now, I mean, we gotta, if we find kind of a top and bottom, and let me zoom out here to like a 2-hour chart. You can see as far as the top and bottom goes, obviously this is a pretty nice halt, and it's retraced back to almost like a 50 percentage point move. If we take our fibs and we kind of throw our fibs in here to kind of get like an intraday kind of high and low right now, we're kind of sitting in no man's land, and we know we have a little bit of room right above. And I'm trying to find like a decent something that is really like a powerful type move. And the reality is I really don't have a lot. I mean, probably this old area of interest, and I can bring this back again. I would say I'm going to use this level, but I'm going to adjust it so it's more in touch with kind of the most recent level of basing off of it. And really, I would say that really until we get up here to the 34.43 level, there's not a lot in here that signifies that there's a lot of sellers. Now, it doesn't mean we won't have profit taking and things pull back again. And again, now that we're at lunchtime, it's a decent time. But right now, when you look to the left and you're looking for those telltale signs that there are still orders that need to be filled, we really don't have anything until this basing level appears. So, for the rest of the day, I mean, yeah, maybe the profit takers step in. But for the most part, I don't think we have anything that kind of, really kind of halts us, really kind of pulls us back. And, could we end with an end of the day rally or, holding these levels? Yeah. I mean, it's up 1.5% right now. So it's not necessarily a bad day. Even if we kind of hold here, it's been a great day. I'm going to remove this area of interest up top just as we start looking closer. 1. Let's pull this across to there. So, yeah, I mean, that's, you could use a level here and say, hey, listen, this is a base sideways. We've hit it. We pushed away decently. Let's form a new level there. We could do something in there and watch that one as well. Oops. There we go. Something along those lines. I would say that those are the next two areas where I'd be looking for some type of a short. Again, it's in the intraday kind of pink category right now. We're in no man's land at 43.44. I'm sorry, 43.41 and 43.62 are the next two areas where we've really seen lots of selling pressure come in. There's a little bit of a zone here, but I think as soon as New York participants come back, I think this one continues to push higher. Now NQ, we talked about a break at the open of 14,577. You can see it came through, it broke, came back up and kind of pushed down again. So, it didn't make it all the way down to the lower profit target, and I would still keep this on your radar. If price is able to, collapse and break below 14,456, there's another 1 to 3 lower that we can take with an eventual profit of 14,377. Interesting enough, we talked about a level here, and you could arguably say, look, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3 touches, and it broke. As soon as you saw this basing, you have to expect it to go higher. And again, in this one, I don't think we have any sellers coming in at least until this level. So it's kind of the same scenario that right now, when we look to the left, there's not really any sellers sitting here. So right now, I would say we look out for 14,782. Again, if you wanted to take that long, you could, take that one long above kind of probably 14,720. But 14,784 and 14,891 are the next two levels I'd be looking to take short. But again, if you guys were looking for this at the open, you could have grabbed this one and, literally the opening, it crashed right below, and then the opening kind of took off here. Here's the 930 candle, but opened, crashed, and went. And that was decent, right? This was a 62 points. I'm sorry. Yeah, 62 points total on that one was what we dropped. So if you're unfamiliar with what we were talking about yesterday about the shorter duration binary contracts, we were talking in particular about the 9 to 11 And again, you can pull it up and see how many contracts ended up getting blown through at the open. But again, decent break, limited risk, very fast movement. If you held until expiration, you got stopped out, or not stopped out, but you got expired because again, we had the big move, and what did it do? It retraced back again. So again, if you don't know how to use your working orders, that's something that you should type in chat, and one of the Nadex support staff can help you guys with that one. But again, there's your fast strike at the open. Right now, look for those two areas. YM, also, we had an area that we were to break through 33,839. We were looking to go short. It didn't do it. It actually came and sat down on that same level, and again, was a valid entry. We had pushed down and we were holding. See how it based here at that 915 candle? A lot of times when you see that holding on top of a level like that, that's typically a signal to go long. Now, they had a little bit of a hiccup right where these other sellers stepped in, but again, huge movement. I mean, we're talking about 130-minute window, and we're talking about a 400-point move, right? Again, 400 points, that's what we talked about over here. And we said, hey, listen, this is what the movement averages per day. There's your first win. There's your first, your first burst. In actually 30 minutes, we did the entire daily ATR in that small period of time. And again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the short duration contracts, the 9 to 11 binary contracts over here, and see how many strike prices we blew through, right? Just a heck of a mover. Now, where do we go with this one now? I would say that this one has a little bit more of a sticking point. Again, we have an area of interest here where it based. We're going to steal that and bring that across and talk about this level. I would say of all of them, this one has kind of the most kind of a reversal potential. Not that I necessarily would be, taking shorts from this level. It is at 1.74%, so it has moved more than any other position. But again, we know that we have some sellers in there. We had some basing. It was a decent move. It's got some red in there right now. And I would say, at least in this one, there's a couple better levels here, but I would say there's nothing really major until we get probably up. And I'll just take this one here. Probably this level here. And again, you can see that there was a ton of basing in here. It's base, 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 and then boom. So I would say that this would probably be the next level that I'd watch out for. 34,783 to the top side, but I do think it's got a couple small levels in here that are probably pretty decent. And again, for me, more than anything else, this is a profit target, not necessarily a short, but it is definitely something. If you think we're going to retrace a bit today as profit taking comes in, that would be a level that you wanted to come back in on. But again, huge explosive move off the open. Yeah, I mean, that was a biggie. And again, go look at that strike differential. Go look at that strike differential. I mean, really, at 930 is where it moved. See how it's basing there? That was your telltale sign that, nope, this is probably going long. So, yeah, nice move. Nice move. If we can get another sustained push forward and we don't turn here, we're breaking 35. I still have this 35 marked. I'm still waiting for it to hit. I still think we can get there. If Bezos can get to if he can get the space, the real space, I think we can get to 35. So, again, lack of any news. I'm trying to think what would really, let me see if there's any news in here that could really provide an issue this week. I mean, unemployment claims could definitely be a big push forward. The flash manufacturing services being even a better positive number could be good. Crude oil is not really going to help. So, yeah, I mean, there's things there. I think we can get there, but for the most part, again, 12:30, the move has already happened for the day. I'd be very cautious with doing too much more. But next kind of turning point, or for some profit taking, I think is 34,783. Let's drop down and start with the currencies now. Bring this back up. It's always funny. I don't do analysis on 15 minutes on currencies. Those are only for the indices in my mind with futures at the open. So whenever I switch from one of these charts and it's a 15-minute and I come across to a currencies position, it's like, what am I looking at? What is this? So here's where we are. We mentioned earlier this week, for those of you that were able to attend, these are the levels that we're kind of watching for, right? And we're kind of skirting through the middle. Now, we did have an area, you can see it hit it, and it kind of went through. So we were really looking to get short for this news release, and it did go south, right? I was hoping that it was up at the 74.05. Remember, I'm an if this, then that trader. I never got a short entry in this one. This is the position that we were looking to do. We were looking to short from that level down. But again, there's the move. It was the right move. It just didn't come back to a level we were interested in selling at. And again, this was based off the Australian news releases from last night. So, you know, what are you going to do? It really didn't move. Right now, you can see in the 24-hour pip change, the Aussie's only moved about 15 pips, so it's well above its ATR. And really, since this time yesterday, I mean, here's that 9-10 o'clock window. We're right in the same spot. It really hasn't gone anywhere. So, we're going to remove this as far as basing goes. Obviously, there's not another news release until tonight. You guys can see it across here. We go Aussie, we click it here. You can see we have retail sales at 9:30. So I would say where we are. And again, here's that's your leading. It's going to be your weekly API. It's going to be, let's see, tonight is going to be right in here. So I could throw it back on there again and say, where we are right now. It's going to be right in that area. If we are sitting and we could drop, let's see, how much of a drop is it? It's about 53. Yeah, I would say if we can get down to that level, that could be something decent to take it long off of. And again, what would cause that move if price is able to come down and they say anything is hawkish about watching inflation, potential time. I mean, even if they're not talking about August, even potentially putting a date on when they could be rising or raising interest rates, that's going to send this thing higher. And I think for news tonight, that's what I'd be looking for. Right now, you can see that this has spent, 12 hours at this point. We're stuck in the same area. There's just not enough, power behind this one right now. But 72.71 is where I'd be looking for this one to go long, especially if we can get down to that level before news. Again, if we get dollar strength coming down, we can get some decent Australian news. And maybe even after, if we hold this 50 and we do nothing but go sideways, maybe we get enough Aussie weakness where that pushes us down, and then we get a reversal from that. And we look for a parabolic retracement move based off of 72.71. Now, once again, is the other one we can trade with news. And again, we know we have a higher time frame level at 79.66. It didn't quite get down there. We had pierced this level 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is what broke it. So kind of the same thinking. Again, we were looking for greens, but right now it's basically paused. I mean, from where we were yesterday here, we're in the exact same spot. It's only moved up, let's see, 12 o'clock from yesterday to here, 15 pips. So kind of the same thing. So where we are now, we need some movement. Also, yen is also an easy way to play this tonight for news. But right now, kind of skirting down the middle, we need this to go to one of these two levels or even come back down. So this one's got a lot of room to run before that time. Yeah, we got 81, which it's not going to move. 45 and 70. We need some help. Come on, Aussie yen. Help us go up or down and give us a trade setup tonight. But right now, we got nothing. Here, I'll give you guys I'll put some prices on there. So I'd say 81.92 if we can get there before news. We'd like to get short. 79.66, obviously, but this is quite a decent range of about 123 pips. I guess it would be more like this is what we're looking at, stretched that way. And unfortunately, there's not really a whole lot down, and this is okay. But really, that's the first kind of big pitch either way that we can go. So we kind of need, let's see, that. Or that is kind of what we'd be looking for, top or bottom, right? Either of those two is kind of what we need for news, but it just, again, we can't force it. All right, so here's the euro pound. So we had talked about this before, and this is one of those scenarios where we were looking for shorts yesterday, right? We were unable to get it, and we kind of took off with a lot of the pound news. We were looking for it to push lower, right? And we're still waiting for that. It's not here yet, but with 2 pushes deep in the zone, again, eventually when this price does break, we're looking to get this one short at 85.68. So nothing we can do with it now, but when pound strength or European weakness comes in, that is a trade for down the road, right? It's an if this, then that. Now, we talked about levels up at 86.41. You can see, we got this nice little spike up at 10.30, and then we kind of had a pullback, right? It went almost to a 3-to-1. It pulled back, and it came up again and hit it, and then drove down again, and then hit it, drove down again. So at this point, we know that it was going to fail, and we started the base through that level, and then it kind of went up, pushed, pulled back, and went higher. Same thing. This one did not quite make a 3-to-1 to the top side off of that push. Pushes to there. Oh, actually, I guess it went right there. Yeah, it got to about a 2.5-to-1, depending on which risk level you used. If you use the red, the original level, it actually did make a 3-to-1. It actually made a 4-to-1 on that one. So there was there's a small Harry Potter trade in there. If you're taking it, the aggressive level again, hit, That's it. That's it. Zone is gone. We based. You're looking for a pullback. So yellow is gone. And again, there's your base, there's your pullback, and there's your punch higher. So it did actually get a 3-to-1 in. So right now, I would say with it stabilizing, watch out for the basing level down here. We know there's a level, and again, we could probably move it a little bit lower, but we've had kind of 2-3 hits off of it. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you could frame it this direction and really focus on this kind of explosion off again. I like this, how this is more of a racetrack to the downside. It's about 37 pips. What I would probably do is be a little bit more conservative with it, kind of come in this direction here, take a short to the downside. Let's see, do we have 3? Yeah, 3 is right there. Yeah, maybe bring it down to here, shrink it just a little bit, and look for a break of that level right there. There we go. So we can take this one off now. Again, that provided the Harry Potter trade north to the top. We can remove it, and we can start looking to see. Let me see if I can get a decent level. Yeah, there we go. Actually, there's the red. There we go. So yeah, it ended up hitting where we thought it would. There you go. So not a surprising place to get short. And again, that's a higher time frame level. That's why we did dash it there. So at this point, I would say I'd be a bit more bearish looking. Again, we've had so much pound weakness. This will be one to look at a Wednesday, but right now I would say the one trade setup that I have for later down the road is probably going to be a short. Again, a break of 61.16, looking for that when the pull back down again. I'd be looking for profit targets probably here, right? And again, our 1 to 3, this is actually 1 to 3.6 right now. 1 to 3 is actually sitting right there. We got some decent room to run. All right. Euro yen. So Euro yen actually, look at this. Base, rode the bottom, based in there again, based in there again. So it really loves this area, but that doesn't help us as far as finding shorts. We had a level down here at 128.74. You can see that it came down and it grabbed it. There was a knockout at 128.46. This one got, let's see. 12 pips. So again, not bad risk coming through that level. The knockout is one we talked about yesterday for potential different opportunities. Right now, I would say this area of interest we can watch, but let's adjust it forward and talk about the next level we'd be willing to get short from is probably up top here. So again, not much to stop it. The next time it pushes forward, there is probably a long there. That long can move an additional about 30 pips. But right now, if I'm going to block off kind of where I'm looking at, actually, in reality, let's move these. You guys don't know what those are. Let's bring this across. I'm going to put a kind of intraday level on there right now. And you can see we get up to that 129.73. That brings us right back into that kind of upper region as far as where sellers should come back into the market. So 129.73 is where we're looking the short. And again, let's see. It's only about 40 pips away. Obviously, it's only Tuesday. Their news comes out on Thursday. But levels like this would be decent. I think either two of these would be cool for shorts going into news on Thursday. But right now, again, it's kind of in that blue no man's land right now. I think it's actually blue. Yeah, it's blue, right? So we have blue here on the larger time frame, and then blue on the smaller time frame. We'll bring this one across. Again, we know that there's a knockout there, and there's actually a call spread at 128.70, which is also that was a weekly call spread as well. And you can see that one has rallied 75 pips now. So a couple different options. For those either new too, the blue is call spreads, the purple is knockouts. Okay, so there was 2 different ways to play it. And again, the call spread was the one that we were like, it's in the zone, but you know what? If it goes lower, we don't get stopped out of the position. And you can see how it went lower. Had that been a knockout, you were out. The knockout was much, much lower, and either one of those two would build, both those two would be profitable as of this moment in time. All right, euro dollar. So euro dollar has been a bit choppy. So there was a knockout here yesterday that we talked about, and we took a spike at 8 a.m. yesterday and just launched this higher, right? Again, If you had still been holding the same knockout, if you did not take your profit, which would have been a huge mistake at this level, now you've been knocked out on the downside. So you gave up all your profit. So that is officially out now. Again, look at this. It's pulling right back into that same level again. I would say top to bottom. And again, you know, could you have taken this one? You did. I mean, if you did, great. All this is a parabolic retracement move. Starting from yesterday morning, it was a parabolic move up, and then it retraced all the way back to the origin of the move, and now you're out. As far as taking this one long, at an extreme level right now, I would say that 117.11 is kind of where our bottom is. Top side, I mean, we're going to have to respect this yellow level right here because, again, I mean, it has hit 3 times, but it was able to hold, so there's probably some sellers in there. There's probably one more hit in there. If that coincides with the European Open or a big piece of news, I think it would be decent. But at this point, because it's hit 3 times, it's just an old violated zone before. I think we got to be really cautious about taking it short one more time. The 117.39 level, you can see that this is where that level kind of came from. It was a base and it was tested once. It hit again and it provided a really nice rally. But understand too that this is going to be hit number 3 on this level at 117.39. So, you know, again, you may want to show a little bit of caution. But if we do get there at the opening, you know, if we do this at 3 o'clock, right there. It's like, no, I want that one. You know, if this one hits here, then that's probably a decent area to go long from. But right now, I'd say our highest probability ones right now are 118.48. There's a knockout right above at 118.59. It's like probably at 118.60. Probably just move a little bit here, but 117.11 on the bottom side and 117.39 I think are decent. But right now, it's just kind of chopping back and forth. Pound yen. So you can see pound yen. Look at this. This is why sometimes call spreads are nice in times of high volatility. You can see that this was a 153. I'm sorry, 148.53, and you can see it came down to 148.45. So about stopped out by about 6 pips on that knockout bracket. And again, this is right at that 9 o'clock, 9:30 window, right? Session opener. As much as the pound was getting destroyed, now everything's coming right back again. So again, it's just profit taking into a higher time frame zone is all that was. We knew we had a higher time frame zone kicking in right around that 148.75. What I would say is, we had basing here obviously, and price has been turned away from it. This would be kind of hit number 3-ish. Again, there's this establishment, and we've hit it twice. So, I would say this is a decent level. Right, it's decent. The European market is closed now, so I expect this to really start to kind of slow down. I would say that this is probably the next area up top where we see major bit of movement coming through. It was a base, and again, European session started there, so that's why we know that 151.07 had some sellers previously in the past. But as far as additional trades going this week, I would say watch out for this here at 152.49. We had a level here that was been tested twice. We have a level of basing and a strong push away at 151.06. And then there's a minor level here if you wanted to kind of play this one, get into something small. I think the risk on it is rather small as well. It's 23, so it's not the smallest. But if you're looking for some type of run, 149.80, right? 149.80 is probably a decent level also. Let me see. You know what? I was going to do it, but let me pull it up real quick. I'm curious to see. Forex. There we go. I was like, why are they not coming up? 149.80. Nah, there's nothing close. I was saying by chance if there happened to be like a weekly call spread or something that was at the top that's right around that area. It's not there. The closest call spread on this one is 150.28, which again it's up here, but it's a little bit way too much risk. There's a 151.53, which is sitting right here, a little bit higher, which would need that level. And then again, I don't think we're going to get all the way back up to 152.50 this week. But there is actually one sitting 152. Wait, hold on, let me look at. 152.78. There's actually one sitting. There's a call spread sitting right there. Okay. As far as knockouts go, let's see. Yeah, let me see if there's any decent knockouts. Now that we've erased a couple of them, so I need to check on them again. There's a 150 flat, which does not really help us out. There's a 151. There's a 151.03, but unfortunately it's in front of the zone. I think it'll get stopped. And there's a 151.53 up here. Right? Which, we'll see. That maybe that one survives. I'd like it if it was a little bit lower. If it was like a 150, like 90, 150, no, I guess actually 151.35 would be the best, but it's a little bit off from there. So, just keep that on your radar. Pound dollar. So pound dollar, you can see kind of came all the way down. We talked about this level being at the extreme range, the 135.83, and that's exactly where we hit at 9 o'clock this morning. It's had an okay rally back up again, about 45, 50 pips. As you can see, this one is down still 50. It was down 110, 117 3 hours ago. So you can see since we last talked, it's done nothing but kind of rally up from that higher time frame zone. It is in an area of basing right now, so again, it may have some issues. But if we continue with the dollar strength today, again, here's that old area of interest. We'll just shrink it and we'll kind of adjust it for the most recent kind of time frame of it. I would say that we're probably good profit-wise until we get back up to 136.86. Yeah, 136.82. Let me see real quick. Pound dollar. There is a 136.67 won't work, and then it's 137.17, which is all the way over here, which is not necessarily ideal. This base up top is 137. Okay, there is a 137. Actually, 137.67 here is not going to work either. So this one doesn't have too many things lining up for it. Let me check call spreads real quick. Pound dollar, 136.42 isn't going to work. 137.67. There's one that's okay there. There's a 141 all the way top. It's funny. There's a 141, a 140, and a one. Yeah, there's two 141s and 140, and we're down at 136 right now on the weekly. So, yeah, there's a lot up in here, but this is continuing to drop lower. So, yeah, I would say watch out for this one. We're kind of sitting in that level right now. We've seen dollar strength come back in. I think we're probably. I can see this one coming up to the 136.82, and that may be where we look for a rollover. One way to play this one is, again, if we have that dollar strength that's kicking in the rest, like, so right now, this was dollar strength all day, right? It was actually more pound weakness, and now we're seeing the strength come back in, the reversal. If we can get back up to this level, and let's say right here at this 3 o'clock time frame, this would be a big time. This would be a big time reversal level as well as time. So if we can come up from here to here and grind across, I'd be looking for this one to come back down again, and that would turn red, and we'd throw a not that one. We'd throw a short position on starting here, right? If it gets to it before then obviously be a bit cautious with it. But I mean, that's what you're looking for. About a 40 pip profit on that one off the open tomorrow could be a decent run to the downside. Dollar CAD. All right, so dollar CAD. We were talking about a break of this level and being able to push down. We weren't as worried about this. We're looking for overall profit targets down here at 126.45. You can see it took kind of a couple different bounces, and finally the 9 o'clock candles which drove this to the downside. We were looking for it to pull back. There is your position so far, right? Actually, and again, I hate when it does this. It's like, oh no, give us the entry. It would be. We're waiting for the break, so it's like, it would be there, right? There would be your entry on it. It's like I'm waiting for it. Like, it doesn't understand that it's breaking. It's like, oh, we're in the zone. We went off the top. Okay, it didn't work. It's like, no. We're waiting for the break. Like, it needs to be set. It's a little bit limited. I like TradingView. but I do feel that the programming behind it is a little bit limited, particularly with Pine Script. I wish this Pine editor was a little bit more robust. But right now, again, I can see this one coming back down to 126.45 as the dollar continues to weaken. CAD data will also help this one. And remember, for the week, here is our Canadian data, right? Tomorrow morning, there's something small. It's not big. And then Friday is where we really see this coming through. So, yeah, we'll see. If we start to pull back and we base, this is a big racetrack we can take over. But I would say, as of right now, we obviously had that one position that worked out just fine here. We got our 1 to 3 at the 126.04. It did base in that level, so it's a level we can watch out for later. At this point, though, we'd probably change the color on this one and change this same level, but change this to a yellow. It's more of a warning area at this point. All right. But wait for this, have this one continue to push back down. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, we were looking for a break yesterday, this one, and you can see it based off of it and used that as a rally point this morning about 5:30. Same thing, the 92 was great, but we had 1, 2, 3, and all this basing like, yeah, it's not going to hold. So that one kind of disappeared on us, and we can't really use it. Once a zone gets hit enough, you have to erase it. Right now, the next big area up top is 92.43, and we're pretty close, although it is starting to erase right now a bit. I would also say, although we have this area of interest level that exists there is going to be some buying probably occurring in this level here. And this is something we could use later in the week. It was a one candle base. It kind of went off of this in front run, but it had really an explosive move. It moved about 30 pips in about an hour and a half, which is a decent move for this pair, followed by one retrace candle all the way up. And again, since 5:30 this morning, that's a 60 pip move. The daily ATR is only 55, so it's over 1 day's worth of movement since 5 o'clock this morning. I'd probably say we have a bit of a retrace, although there's not really a clean entry here. Right now, if you're looking for kind of extreme levels on this one, I would say that the 91.25 is decent. Let's move all these across. We have 90.84. We have a level here. We're still waiting for that break. We have that there, and then we also have a higher time. We have 2 higher time frame zones here. One there at 92.73, and an additional one right there at 90. So a couple different sell places, and then a couple different buy ones, and then one kind of Harry Potter kind of continuation in the middle. Pound yen. So how funny is this, right? There was our level, our 1, our 2, our 3 base, and then finally broke through. There was a knockout down here at 109.03. That was something we identified yesterday as well. And you can see this one came down to 103.06, so made it by 3 pips. And since that time has provided a great rally, 90 pips to the top side. So, basically 3 pips worth of risk and ended up getting 90 on the other side. Now, I would say holding it that far would have been a little bit risky. I would have probably adjusted this area of interest level, brought this across and brought it to here. So again, you would have gotten your profit target around this level. If you didn't get stopped here, you'd be like, oh, I'll take it somewhere out, but it went higher. So right now, I would say there's still this area up top. If it does continue to push through, we have a long a long trade set up at 110.10, right? The way that it looks right now, though, it looks like we are going to probably have some type of a parabolic retracing back to the downside. How much of a movement was it? Yeah, it's about 60 pips. So let's see. Probably there is going to be the adjusted level. Kind of wanted this to break. Kind of looking at a break. I need a little bit more of a breakdown. This one's not ideal. That's a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 is right there. So yeah, I would say a break of that. So it hasn't kicked in yet. Right there. Something along those lines. So if we're looking for something small. The 109.82. All right, so let's go and look at gold, oil, and silver. All right, so yesterday we talked about the big little scenario, and it was a big move in the European session, and then it was also another big move, and you can see it tagged the first level and kind of pulled back, so that would have been your profit target on any shorts, the break below the European session, and it did. Had you taken the short here, You were able to grab $1.92 to the downside when it broke through that kind of European session. Your profit target would have been here. Now, had you taken a long from this, you did get up about almost 1.5 to 1. So you should not have lost anything on this had you gotten long. And all it did was it slammed into it and kind of fell through. Now, it did grab the second level, and this one did go right back up again. So it was another $1.20 move to the top. At that point, that was kind of out of the, again, out of the wheelhouse. We were done at that point. All we did in the overnight was we kind of faded back to the downside and then pulled right back again. So it's kind of starting to go more or less, I'd say, just channeling sideways in this lower area. I like where we are, though. As far as kind of bigger levels, and you know what? I forgot to mark it off this morning. Let me mark it now. 3 o'clock should be here. There's your 3. There is your 8:30. Let's change that to blue. And then there's your 8:30, and there is your 4:30 candle. So right now you can see that, again, this is more or less kind of hidden, right? It's more or less hidden. It's like a mirror, right? So a little bit of a base out the bottom. At this point, it's kind of pulling back and forth again. When we look to see what this one has hit, where it's hit again, the next clean kind of super buying levels are down here. I just felt that. My neighbor is cutting down their tree, and we've already had like one big like thump where you felt everything move. We just had another one. The dog's like, wait, what? Let's see. I don't need this. It's an old area of interest. There is a level there. Let's pull this across. Yeah, it's broken. We can take it off now. Yeah, so looking at see what where the next buyers are stepping in at, you can see, but before this level, the next time is really down here at about 64.60. So we got some room to run, I guess, to the downside. We'll see where we are tomorrow. Remember and again, we'll discuss this tomorrow morning, but the way that you play oil releases, if you want to know how to play this one, watch tomorrow morning. I'll run through the entire breakdown, and we'll talk about how to trade this one with 5-minute and 1-minute candles to kind of get an idea. It's worked, again, last 5 out of 6 weeks, I think. So if you guys don't know how to watch it tomorrow morning, 8:45, get on YouTube, search Nadex, go to Nadex's channel, and we broadcast live from 8:45 to 9, and we'll show you how to do that setup. But right now, I would say that maybe it grinds a little bit higher. Really, I guess if it bursts out the top, there's not necessarily any like decent sellers until we get up into this level. We're in an area right now where there's a little bit, but if we burst through, I think this has the ability to come back to 64.15 or 69.15. Again, it doesn't look like it's that far, but that's a $2 move right now. Like, what justifies a $2 move right now? And I would say probably nothing, right? It's got to slow down. These have been, this was a very, very volatile day yesterday, top to bottom, right? We're talking about $5.21. The daily ATR on this one is $2.20. So it did 2 times its daily ATR yesterday. And again, welcome to Monday. So, yeah, we'll see. If growth looks good, I think we can get back up to the 69. I think 69 it makes a little bit more sense than being at 65. But again, with OPEC releasing things, there's a few really good articles. Look at this. More people are getting long. Earlier today, this was 60% of clients were net long. 52. Now we're up to 60. So it looks like a lot of people are really starting to say this is gonna go higher. And where is it? I don't know if it was in here somewhere else. Yeah, they're talking about the bullish drivers, plunges, forecast. Yeah, I would say again we'll play it tomorrow, but I'd be looking to find oil long a little bit. I don't think with everybody recovering, if we're really slushing off all the delta fears, I think this one goes back higher. Now gold had a major drop. We were looking for this to go long, and it really kind of just teased with us and then popped up and kind of dropped very fast. Here was the trade from before, and I said I'd be cautious with kind of trading it a second time. Reason why is, again, basing, all coming through. It found buyers, but right now, again, hold the same level. You guys had this level since last week, so there's nothing new with this one. The 1795 top side, 1830 on the top. And again, this trade it worked out. It hit its 1 to 3, so we'll remove it. And yeah, we should really keep this on because look, base, touch, base through again, popped out, based again. It's not a tradable, but we know we got a kind of a little bit of a hiccup there. So actually, you know what? I am going to remove it real quick. Let's go ahead and do, I'm going to mark off this and turn this one yellow. 18. I would like this to rise back up again, but I don't know if now is going to be the time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, this one's going to be hard. I think, let's see. I'm trying to figure out when's going to be the ideal time to get that one. Unemployment maybe helps it, but I think the flash PMI, manufacturing and services, is probably going to be the gold trade of the week. Let me see. Let me check. I want inflation, all. Yeah, there's unfortunately PPI in this. There's just not a lot. There's just not a whole lot of inflation-based data coming this week. I guess growth. Yeah, I mean, Friday is probably the best day. I mean, tonight, obviously, retail sales will help out a lot. If that's good, that's going to show inflation. If they mention inflation, that would also help drive gold back up again. But besides that, it's probably going to be Friday where we want to look for gold to pop again. But right now, I think these two levels are decent, top and bottom. Looking at silver, again, silver kind of bounced off of this 24.83. That was a level. There's a knockout down here at 24.40, but it's a little far away. You guys can see that this one, here was the, 9 o'clock this morning is where we set this one up. It's taking a decent bounce off of it right now. Top side, there's a few levels you got to chunk through. Like this is a lot of junk. Here's a level that you need to watch out for. That's going to be at approximately 25.33. Could that provide an area where it drops? Yeah, it should. And then here, this is an old area of interest that, again, was a top and a top. And most likely that would be another area that we want to keep on track of. So, knockouts are at 26.40. It's the closest. So, again, way too far away. The 24.40 was way too far away here to the downside. I would say silver's a little bit lost. And remember, we're under $25. We're right at $25 right now. Reddit has less than 6 months before this is, supposed to be at $100. Because remember, they said by the end of 2021, when we got to 2022, that silver would be, they would jack silver to $100. And yeah, we're 1/4 of the way there. And if you look at it, its performance weekly, it's down 3%, monthly down, 3.9 in the week, 3.7 in the month, 4.47 in 3 months, 1.5 in 6 months, and year to date, it's down 5.27%. In the last year, it's only up 6, which is right around where they said the inflation rate is. So unfortunately, I believe like Reddit has not done a good job on this one. Unfortunately, they're not helping us. And again, other notables out there. Speaking of Reddit and those style of traders, I mean, Bitcoin's under 30,000 right now. Ethereum's at down. AMC is actually not doing bad, but it's only at $39 from where it was, and GameStop is only at 184. Dogecoin's back to 17. Even TLT's down. Natural gas is having a big day. Right, natural gas is big. I hate when I see natural gas because I actually need to refill my propane. That's what we cook with at my house. It's kind of like, hey, I know natural gas and propane are different, but it's like, no, go back down. Go back down. I need this to go down to $3 so I can place an order, and then you can go up to $5. I don't care. But this will be a trade on based for on Thursday for natural gas. Don't forget this one too. I'm going to end with this one, guys. Let me go back here. Do none US. Let's go all. Just like we've been setting up oil, natural gas right here is another one of those ones that has provided a lot of misses. Look, there's been a lot of misses in this one. You can see last time they've been pretty decent. There's been some big movement in natural gas. Just like we said, our oil inventory report, natural gas is another one. So if you're looking for news releases or something to trade this week when there's not really a whole lot of traditional news, trade the oil inventory report on Wednesday, right? And then do the same thing you did here, the same way you set it up. And again, I'll go over the strategy tomorrow morning. Do natural gas, right? Natural gas storage is the same thing. You can trade them exactly the same way. So it gives you 2 additional ways to trade news releases this week. So, but unfortunately, that's it. Like I said, there's not a lot of additional news out there. I mean, dollar index again was pushing higher. We knew we had a level at 93.06 and 93.10, and it's just pulling back now. Again, I'm not trading the dollar index, but if this gets back down to 92.84ish level, again, look for the euro dollar to come down, the pound dollar to come down, the Aussie dollar to come down. All those are areas where we could see this to drop. Even the VIX is down 11% today. You can see it's heading straight down. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Even Tesla. Um, for those of you that know traditional options, I was mentioning this yesterday with my group. I'm like, oh God, there's like a bull call spread in here. Look at this, where it's hitting a level right now. And again, it's been decent in one day already. It's already up from the 620 to 650 range. So, yeah, not a bad day in the markets. The way they started, again, very very strong pushes. Everything is well above an ATR, so look for some reversals. And again, we're looking for this to come up, and maybe NQ will give us a short later on if we get to one of those two levels. So. With that said, mark your calendars off. July 27th, it'll be the last one in July. I can't believe that July, there's only one left. And if you guys haven't registered for the next education summit, that is coming up. Actually, I think it's only 3 weeks away, and I think you can find it online already. You can go get signed up for that one. I'm going to be doing a talk on some technical analysis, particularly dealing with Fibonacci. I know it's a statement or a topic a lot of people are interested in, a lot of people like. I'm going to have to change back some of my indicators from risk to reward back to true fib so we can go ahead and share some Fibonacci secrets with you guys. All right. So with that said, if you have any questions for me, you can message me at support@keeptradingsimple.com. You guys know how to get in touch with Nadex as well if you have any questions. And if not, make sure you guys log in, check those sessions out. We do it every single day, Monday through Friday, 8:45 to 9 a.m. And you get on YouTube, search Nadex, and go ahead and click the follow and then the bell for notifications so you know when we go live. And we try to find the number one and one or two hot trading opportunities for the morning. With that said, it's 1 o'clock. I'm out of here. You guys have a great trading day, and I'll catch you guys next week. Take care.